Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Age of Empires 4 replay. So on the left side as the purple Zuzi's Legacy, we've got Noctiq, Corvinus1. So on top right side is the Yellow Knights Templar, we have a foreign name. When it comes to this map's generation, it's got a lot of small gold and wood deposits everywhere on the map. Purple does have two small wood deposits up front, providing some natural coverage here. Let's see, deer deposit up the hill, so not a great safe spot there. Deer deposit next to the trading post, not super great for yellow. Deer off the side as well, up the hill a little bit. Large tree deposit up front. Let's see, of course this deer deposit next to the trade post as well. So it looks like both sides have somewhat equal map generation at the moment. So yeah, it looks pretty even. Let's see, Knights Templar of course have a lot of good assets you can always upgrade into. Not sure what unit he should eye or what sort of tactic. There's a lot of things you can do with Knights Templar. And against Zuzi's Legacy, they have no inherent archers, but of course they do get Zunchnu's immediately. Knights Hospitallers being selected there. That will also get the Knights Hospitallers, which are a heavy infantry unit that has less armor but had the monk heal ability. Also increase civilian units' health by 30%, their move speed 10%, increase healing from all sources by 30%. So effectively you'll get some combat medics going for an early barracks. Meditation gardens being established here next to the two stone deposits. Quite a bit of wood there. So should be able to start pumping out fortifications, no problem. Now, will it be eye for a fast castle or anything of that sort? I guess we'll find out soon enough. We do have a Knights Hospitaller. We've got the Zhengan Tower, so fast Song Dynasty. For the Zuzi's Legacy, Song Dynasty reduces the cost of economic buildings. So houses, farms, and I think also town centers. Let's see. Of course, the cost of town center inherently is 400, 350. Let's keep purple selected, which we do. And we'll see if that gets reduced. Scout, time and scout. Purple has a good number of sheeple there. Yellow has found more sheeple. There's a nice Templar here. A nice hospital here. He has a healing ability available. He's going for his own watchtower here. That's probably a better call than trying to torch us down with the nice hospitaller there. He has inherently 2-1 armor, so he's actually pretty vulnerable to Zunchnu's. Zhengan Tower now complete, so now he gets a bit of rebate upon building military structures. Did not fully build this, will fully build it. Luckily, he has plenty of free stone income here, and he's going for hand cannoneer slit, one of the most cost-efficient upgrades, or at least weapon placements in the game. And gets +1 range, he'll be able to range these villagers, so he should be fine enough. As long as his research only reduces the cost of wood, not the stone. It also gets immediate early access to the villages as well as the granaries. And not villagers, that's something already contained. And with the upgrade complete, he was able to zone out the village, decided to go back on off. Very good. Did lose one villager, both sides have lost one villager now, so that's pretty even. Huh, the army value didn't go down. Interesting. Purple has a high army value. Why is it 265? So something's bugged on Purple's side. He has no military troops in the field, so that's interesting. Oh wait, could it be, do weapon placements count as outposts? Do outposts count as army value? See, this costs 100, so 100, 200. Wait, I guess the Zunchnu's weapon outposts themselves, not the weapon placements, adds to the army value. I did not know that. Is that just something that's bugged? Got army value going up over here. And the Knight's Hospitaller is 110. Archer, I think, yeah, I think Outpost contributes to army value. I never knew that. Huh. Zunchnud up on the field with the low armor of the Knight's Hospital. They're a good deployment. Archer in the field help counter. Zunchnud does get outranged by the Archer, does have higher DPS than the Archer. These are units rebates, getting build a couple stables there, building a horseman, get a free one here. Nice hospitals do move at spearmen and archer speed, so they're pretty good unit to accompany these early on units. Attack speed and damage seem the same as other heavy infantry. I don't remember the health that a dark or feudal age man at arms has, but that seems similar enough as well. These guys do technically cost less than a man at arms, but they're far more heavy in gold, which is probably a good trade-off. An adequate trade-off as balance-wise. You have now the survival techniques being researched, arrow slits as well. There are no horsemans on the field, which help be useful against these archers. Looks like this nice hospitals do take a bit of fire, even from the town center, get a snapshot on in. Horsemen are going to just cleave apart these archers, no problem. Zunchnuds just need to be in general attack, move forward, just get some damage going. Why should I +1 damage and +1 range armor sooner rather than later? Nice hospitallers will defeat horsemen 1 versus 1 combat. But Zunchnuds, of course, can get some damage going at range. Does take out one nice hospital, but does lose 2 Zunchnuds to it. Those are pilgrims, not villagers. Being picked off by the horsemen is very nice. You also have some early palace guards on the field. I always forget that the Zuzi's legacy can get out early palace guards, as well as early grenadiers in starting Castle Age. Looks like this, hill pass has a bit of also another upper part here. So got a weird valley that actually gets formed here. Weird quirks on the map. Horsemen could take out the scout. There's these legacy players collecting some gold there. Another hand cannoneer slip. The meditation guard just providing a good amount of free stone with these weapons before these weapon placements. Plus, they can also potentially fortify some of these as well. You have some early farms here, which he, of course, does get a cost reduction thanks to the Song Dynasty to them. That's just a scout. Nice hospitaller will get everything healed up, no problem. But this one can't settle down. Village going on up. Outpost here, horsemen advancing forward. Good contingent of Zunchnuds straight forward. Palace guard advancing. They do have 9 damage age. So I guess the nice hospitals do have more damage than a standard man at arms this age, unless the palace guards have just less damage than the feudal age. Looks like not enough Zunchnuds to one-shot archers. There's a good number of archers nearby. Palace guards at least have 2 inherent range armor this age, so they will stand the archer fire a decent amount. You have +1 range armor for Zuzi's legacy. Pleasure gun +1 range damage before +1 range armor. He does go for +1 range damage and has +1 armor as well, so these Zunchnuds are not hitting as hard as they should. He's getting the upgrade now. Both players are very far from aging up. The Zuzi's legacy player is closer. Siege engineers now being employed in the field, as well as a wheelbarrow. outpost taking some fire, and now is on fire. Villagers may want to evacuate. Villagers, oh no, those Zunchus, not villagers on the inside. I sort of forgot about that part. Got some spearmen now deployed in the field. Archers do +5 versus light infantry, so effectively 10 base damage against infantry or light melee. Well, the Zunchus, of course, does have a burst of 3 × 4, so they do slightly more damage versus light melee. Of course, they do cost a mix of all resources. We do now have a battery ram being deployed in the field to help batter down his opponent. He's a hits on the archer. Got some fortified outposts going on up. Battery ram does garrison to a certain extent. Does dismount there. Nice Hospitalers taking some damage. Got plus some melee damage with Zuzi's Legacy. Horseman's trying to push their way forward, engaging some of these archers. Now their base damage up to 10. They do have +9 versus range. Getting some damage on these archers now. Nice Hospitalers, sort of holding the back line or front line. These dudes are now engaging. We do have now the outpost here, upgrade of arrow slit and firing away. It also has the fortified towns, not fortified outpost there. Not town center, wrong age game. Trying to go for some of these deer, but of course the outpost nearby is going to be a bit difficult. We can upgrade a hand cannoneer slit now. We do have this one already upgraded hand cannoneer slit. And cannoneer slip complete. Another batting ram being blown field. Purple's not going with the wheelbarrow, and another fortified outpost. This one here. More Zunchus now being blown in the field. Both players are pretty far from aging up. Yellow's closer at the moment. Going for some horticulture. Up north, Purple's trying to obtain the deer deposit. Yellow's trying to build an outpost and deer deposit. Purple will spot this, he can start slitting the throats of the other villagers, start shanking them. Does cancel going for an outpost here, go for an outpost here. More villagers here, plus this Chinese variant, so they build faster. A lot of fortified outposts. I don't think you even touch a single stone pebble. Yep. So all these upgrades you've been seeing on the outposts, both the fortified outpost and hand cannoneer slit, are all provided from the free stone. Granted, the gold is another matter, but that's a very little cost. We got the Engiven Empire. I forget what that one does. Horses and docks get plus 30% health. What unit did it provide? Was that the Genitura? I think that was a Genitura one, right? Let's switch over to yellow. Battery ram advancing. Let's see, not Gentur, it was the Heavy Spearman. Heavy Spearman is an excellent unit. Granted, it is countered by crossbowmen, but it is also a heavy spearman. You can't use archers against it, so it'll be effective versus those Zunschnus. They have 4/4 armor, same as man-at-arms. They have the same movement speed as man-at-arms. So the Zuzi's Legacy player has no proper counter to the Heavy Spearman this age, other than Palace Guard, which even then it will fall off. Does have a slow attack speed like Spearman. Palace Guard would be the best bet, but he needs to age up to get Crossbowman now as soon as possible. Zuzi's push forward, getting stabbed by the Heavy Spearman. Zunschnus are hyper fixated on those archers. Hospitalers and Heavy Spearmen just stabbing these units. Do these Spearmen have a different combat animation? I don't remember this combat animation. It doesn't feel like a Spearman combat animation as well. Maybe it's just the shields in the back throwing it off for me. Mount Lu Academy, so he's aging up there. Got a battering ram there. Does batter down the mill, so can no longer grind these deer to thin red paste. Purple battering ram there. As immediately started abandoning this region, very good. Is that a good thing, abandoning a region? Either way, we got crossbowmen down the build queue. Bolt magazines would be very nice, but gives +1 damage versus light melee, not heavy melee. But if his opponent continues with the heavy infantry plays, aging up to the 10,000 bolts upgrade wouldn't be half bad. 2 fortified outposts here with hand cannoneer slits. Barracks now it's cancelled. Heavy Spearman's trying to push away forward, does find some regular Spearmans. If these opponent keeps on going for the Grenadiers, not Grenadiers, Heavy Spearmen and Hospitalers, he could eye for the early Grenadiers. Though they are light gunpowder units, so they would be countered by the veteran archers. He's just going down, trying to get some farms out at the granary. Now think about it. He had Song Disney pretty early on, but he still went for a mill rather than for a granary. They didn't like the spot there for a granary, and granaries themselves are a little bit more expensive than mills. Mills cost right now, for him, 35 wood. Granaries will cost a full 105, so maybe just opportunistic. Got some early Palace Guards still being employed in the field. The regular Palace Guard upgrade has not been completed yet. Got a fortress being established here. Right now, purple does have a slightly more villager number. Both players lost a significant number of villagers. Going for an outpost here. Cleaning up boar. Mount Lu Academy. Any upgrades just yet? Nope, nothing just yet. Of course, can make his Imperial officials just move faster. Improve their supervision, doubling the effects of it. Officials will now supervise keeps, which is really horrible. I think it should also allow to be, if garrisons out of a keep or fortification, provide X amount effect. Because right now, supervising a keep while in combat is a horrible strategy, since that thing's just so easy to pick off. And more Imperial official capacity is always very nice to have. Of course, got a fortress here next to that sacred site will help keep it secure. Not to mention, the treasure tower would be very nice to go along with it. Heavy spearmans push their way forward with some hospitalers. Tiny, small number of hospitals is always a good idea, just get these guys healed up between conflicts. Right now, the early pile squad, not only they're getting their regular pile squad upgrade, also at this rate, the amount of heavy spearmen he's been seeing, go for melee armor. These guys attack slow, so the increased melee armor would be very nice to help resist the damage. Monk here, getting sliced apart. Spring golem placement here. Heavy spearmen being picked off. We also got some mana arms are mixed on in, looks like. Those units get all picked on up. Those pick off one villager there. Got a house here. Looks like purple's gonna be a bit of a home wrecker. We do now the veteran spearman upgrade. Fortress now being established again, this time next to the other secret site. And this is probably the one where the pilgrims are going to. We're now groups of 3 pilgrims. Got some upgrades up here. Got crossbowmen, archers, 2 more archers away, heavy spearmen. We have some trebuchets. Purple right now is just going for crossbowmen and palace guard. Yellow right now has more villagers, does have a secondary town center on the field. Purple has the 1, not to mention yellow has pilgrims. So the longer the game goes on, the better yellow's position he will be off. When it comes to destroyed value, purple has a much higher destroyed value, which is pretty good for him. Battering ram takes out both these structures, very nice. Purple has a handful of battering rams as well, takes out one of the mangonels, palace guard straightforward. Mangonels do hit the crossbowmans. Trying to push forward, mangonels can be lining up another shot there, battering rams should be pushing forward to the fortress. Crossbow and focus on the mangonel. It is supposed to its ground force, does pick it off there. It had slow traversement. I think the move order of rotating the mangonel before deploying would have been a good call. We do now have the fortress going on up. He's trying to go for the treasure towers, but it looks like it will be interrupted. Yeah, trebuchets have ×2 projectiles for the Knights Templar. And looks like purple's arm gets cleaned on up. Battering rams are engaging. Got a good number of villagers here. Does it cost a stone? Yeah, it does cost a stone to repair fortresses. Since they are a annihilation victory condition, I couldn't remember if it could and couldn't, because landmarks only require wood. Looks like fortresses do require stone. Wasn't sure if it mimicked a landmark or fortresses at that point. Greased axles, we do have the Dead Citadels there, increasing the armor of nearby units by 1. Oh, I thought they also provide like range damage. Yeah, improve the range of nearby range units by 15%. Such a weird way of doing that because most of the range increases are like +1, +0.5, plus 15%, just not normal in this game. Dense range of nearby units, but it looks like does not affect siege weapons, interestingly enough. Even though they are units. Zhang Tower does go down. We're no longer get free units upon building military structures. We got a number of spring gulls and nested bees here. Another fortress going on up. Looks like it's going to be down south. But that's an outpost. Right there. Now we got a slow push into the Zuzi's Legacy town. We do have now the palace guards intercepting some of these archers. It looks like pretty much fully upgraded this age, barring some armor. More of these structures are going down to the trebuchets. Yellow has a pretty good siege line. Right now there's a lot of heavy spearmans. A lot of crossbones as well. Spring golds and nested bees would be very good for the Zuzi's Legacy. He has a handful of them on the field. Horsemen, not so much. There's a lot of stuff there by yellow. When it comes to army value, currently yellow has about 4,000 value lead, which is quite significant. Kingdom Poland, which should give him some cavalry bonuses. All cavalry gets additional health and plus 50% charge damage. Horseman finds some of these trebuchets open. Does not take any of them out. Oh, did he cancel it? Yeah, he's canceled Kingdom Poland, now going for Kingdom Venice. Reduces the change in buy and sell rates by market price by 75%. When trading resources at the market, it also gives them the Genoese trader, not Genoese traders, the Venice trader, a small number that can be pulled in the field, which are more effective but more expensive. Knights Templar don't have traders inherently. Got another horseman's push way forward. So those towers being cleaned up quite easily. We've got elite crossbowmen and elite heavy spearmen, as well as a trebuchet emplacement. Nested bees gets distracted by some of these outposts. That's not good. These guys are very congested, so this is great for the nested bees to start firing away in the middle of this back formation, I would say. Nested bees trying to push way forward. Zuzi's legs are very far from aging up. Has a small window before the elite upgrades start coming forward. Some of these guys are getting hit pretty hard. Heavy spearmen taking some damage there. Some of the Magnellas can hit, going for the fortress there. Some of the Magnellas going down, so good congestion of forces for yellow, which means SVs will do some good work there. And it looks like, yep, and purple does resign there. This Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.